Welcome, Aquarius, to your Venus in Aries deep dive forecast. From March the 6th through to the 30th, Venus, the relator, but also the planet of money, moves through the fire sign of Aries. We can think about Venus in Aries in isolation. I'm going to share your event chart because we get a broader perspective of what the next 25-day holds. I'm also going to share with you the upcoming influences. By the end of the forecast, you'll have a clearer picture of what your finances, but also your connections hold in store for you during that time. I'm astrologer Patrick Arundell. A very warm welcome. If you've yet to subscribe to the channel, please do so now. So on the screen is your event chart. So there's Venus in the sign of Aries, said to be detrimented. The ruler of the sign of Aries is Mars, which is very much a go for it energy. Venus is said to represent more of a gracious, charming, and seductive vibe. Why is that? Well, Venus rules two zodiac signs, the earthy Taurus, very much about the need for foundations, very much to do with our appreciation of the good things in life, but also it can be about our values, self-worth, and everyday money. Venus is rulership of the sign of Libra, an air sign like yours, very much more about presentation, relating, can be to do with harmony and equilibrium. So it's opposite the sign of Libra, which is why it's detrimented. The Venus in the sign of Aries still has some great qualities. So Venus, for example, here for you, the third house, how you think and how you speak is going to amplify the charm of your message. So whatever you're going to say over the next 25 days, it can hit home in a very effective way if you choose your words with care. Because of course, one of the things with Aries energy is urgency, and Venus benefits from being a little more thoughtful and showing poise. Initially, Venus merges with the dreamy, drifting energies of Neptune. You might find initially that some of your ideas feel a bit blurry, but equally they could feel supremely imaginative. But soon after, Venus meets with your traditional ruler Saturn on the 8th, and it's a crunching conjunction. You could have an exchange around that time, which is very frank and to the point. If you are talking about finances or around a relationship matter, neither side may want to give way, and it could be a bit unyielding, and that could be a pinch point, and it may have quite the impact. So it is important to be diplomatic. Do know, however, that the collective in the sign of Pisces is influential because for you, that's house two, which is an echo of that Taurus energy, which Venus is about. So, finances, self worth, values, particularly with Mercury in a retrograde at the moment, and the hustle bustle energies of Mars, the ruler of Aries, in this part of your chart, suggests you are thinking about or wanting to talk about gaining more foundations in your world, greater stability and security. Why not? We'd all like a slice of that. So your thinking and your interactions with others can be very much part of that process. But once we get to the 10th and Venus gets beyond that rather tender and potentially coarse and cold conjunction with Saturn, which may see some rather brusque messages being exchanged. Once we get to the 10th, Venus moving forwards forges a brilliant sextile to Pluto in your sign. Pluto, very close to the part of fortune, you can see, is really urging you to transform your individual approach. But that's a deep energy. The third house can be a little bit frivolous, and Venus can be itself, particularly for its rulership of Libra, be very much about presentation. But however you express yourself and whatever your ideas are, don't be surprised if someone is captivated over the next few weeks. If you do enjoy writing, reading, if you are a performer, you love karaoke, all of those areas can really shine up brightly for you once Venus gets beyond Saturn. But that sextile to Pluto goes through the whole of week two. there may be a really significant discussion you have at that time, which could be life-changing. You can also become much more aware of the exchanges you had. It's not just the conversation, but what's really meant. So it's the depth of what's discussed that's really going to call out to you, and you'll become much more conscious of. If there is someone you're connecting to at the moment, the main weakness I feel could be if your values don't align. So even if you fancy each other, even if you have banter, even if it's quite flirty, if your values don't align, it's difficult to disguise, not least because the moon, planet of emotion, is the most novelly player in your chart in the ninth house, and that's very much about truth. And truth, or at least a higher purpose, is often important to Aquarius people. So if there is someone you're connecting to at the moment who has different values or different beliefs, that could show up as well. But then we get to week 3. Jupiter's direct by then. Your physical energy can come up from the 11th, but Venus forges a square 3-6. You may find your enthusiasm is infectious at that time, but you need to factor in that on March the 20th, the Sun returns to Aries. We get the new astrological year, joining up with Venus for 10 days. And yes, the Sun has to negotiate the conjunction between Neptune and Saturn too. But I think your words will take on greater gravitas as this month goes on. But with a degree of charm, a degree of finesse, very Venusian, you can be so effective. So even if you do have a disappointing connection, conversation, or even one particular tie starts to fade from the 8th, know that there's new energy, new life, and new excitement coming into your situation as March unfolds. It's been a pleasure being with you. If you've yet to watch your March 2026 deep dive, please click on the screen. If you've yet to watch your Mars into Pisces deep dive, please click that. If you'd like to talk with me one-to-one, please check out my testimonials below. If you'd like to order your personal horoscopes, you can get 50% off at the moment. Please apply Astro26 at the checkout, or if you'd like to order your Draconic Soul Karmic option, please apply Draco26 to get 50% off. Thank you.